Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today, we are going to be talking about Hedera and HBAR. And for all those HBAR barians out there, we most likely have full-on confirmation of the first enterprise-grade use case going fully live. Days later, from the report that we initially started talking about where we seen the TPS going crazy, we have officially stabilized on the Hedera mainnet with over 500 plus TPS going at all times of the day. This is incredible to see. We are going to go in depth on it. We are going to address a few things as well. But for all those H barbarians out there, I hope that you guys are enjoying the show. For those out there that are not subscribed to the channel and you guys do keep up with Hedera and HBAR content, I highly suggest that you guys hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on. We have been talking about Hedera pretty much almost on a daily basis for the last 2 years. So yeah, definitely hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on to never miss a future update, because over 50% of you are not subscribed to the channel. And also, if you guys have been enjoying the overall moves on the mainnet, definitely hit that like button, and also comment down below where you guys see the TPS by the end of the year. So with all of that in mind, let's go on to the list. Let's look at HBAR. I know that recently HBAR has been moving up in price, up 20% on the 7-day span, up about 2% on the 24-hour. This is nowhere even near close to the actual value that it should have. I actually look at other major networks and really kind of just compare the value proposition here. First off, I love to see the fact that 50% of the supply is out there. I know that there is still about 50% locked away that is most likely going to be released at some point in time. But we are sitting at about roughly 25.2 billion, which is pretty solid, honestly. When we go down the list, though, ADA. ADA has a market cap of $12 billion right now. Think about that. ADA has $12 billion in market cap, and HBAR has only almost 4 billion. Absolutely crazy to me. Now, I did tweet out earlier yesterday, I said 5,500 plus max TPS has been hit. Wow, the beast has woke up. I said HBAR will shock the world very soon. This is one enterprise use case. Imagine 5, 10, 20. You get the picture. And here you guys have a screenshot of the network demand, which we could actually go and look at this real quick. Let me go to Hedera's website and let's actually look at this, because honestly, when we go to the ecosystem, you guys could all see this, by the way. Like, you don't need any, or sorry, it was actually the network. You could actually look at this and see the statistics in a real time. They are very transparent on this. So just today alone, we are at about 1,500 max TPS. This was yesterday. We were at 5,500 max TPS. The average TPS was about 572. Today it's about 574. Total transactions, 49.62 million. Yesterday it was about like 49.6 million. But you could see this fully live. Everything is fully transparent. You can see the account growth. You can see the Hedera services, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it is very, very interesting, to say the least. I am very excited for the overall network growth here. This is enterprises adopting in, again, incredible DLT efficiency. And here's the 1 week time frame, the 5,500 with 163 million transactions. And you can see where we really start to spike up in transactional demand. On the 1 hour, here's the 1 hour. We're doing about 1.92 million transactions on the 1 hour span. 492 average TPS right now. Max TPS has been like 791. And yeah, I mean, this is incredible. You could see how different of a story on the 1 month this really is. So this is very exciting. We see the TPS right now sitting at about roughly 250 TPS. Dragon Glass has a little bit more of an in-depth view on it. So if we actually go back to the 1 week, you could see the transactions where we started to really kind of break out here. So it started roughly, I would argue, around the 13th. Because back here we were seeing like roughly 400, 300, 200,000 transactions per day, which is still very good compared to most of the top tier networks in the space. But then we had about 18.6 million transactions on the 13th. And I remember everybody was like saying like, this is insane, this is crazy. Then all of a sudden we've seen 50 million followed by another 50 million, and now today alone we have about 44 million. We are seeing transactions up 4,300%. And remember, right, going back, I don't know if it's going to be on the weekly. It might actually be on the monthly now that I think about it. But we've seen accounts going actually crazy as well. I mean, we could probably see this over here as well. Let me go back. So we actually do have the 1 month span. So here's when we've seen about 108,000 accounts created in one single day. This has been solid though for about like roughly 3,000 per day. We've seen about 15,000 created on the 4th as well. You could also see other things around like and NFTs as well. Ashfall is one that has been transacting quite a bit. But yeah, nonetheless, we are seeing a ton of demand for Hedera right now. I still see a lot of FUD out there though. I still see a lot of people saying, okay, like when value creation? First off, for all of those people out there that don't know how HBAR as a token actually gains value, if you guys go over here to the HBAR tab on their website, right? All you have to do is go to the overview, and you can see the role of HBAR on the network. Anything being transacted over Hedera is going to be utilizing HBAR. We do see HBAR is the native energy efficient cryptocurrency of the public Hedera network. HBARs are used to pay application transaction fees and protect the network from attack through proof of stake. It is a network fuel, so developers use HBARs to pay for network services such as transferring HBARs, minting fungible and non-fungible tokens, calling smart contracts, and logging data for every transaction submitted to the network. HBARs are used to pay fees that compensate validator nodes for bandwidth, compute, and also storage, and then also network protection. Now, I will say this. One thing that I have been always fully transparent on is the fee base here. So when we look at HBAR, right, and we look at the transactions, so going back here to Dragonglass, we had about like 50 million transactions in one singular day. I'm just going to average it at about 50 million transactions per day, which is totally fine. Now, although, yes, that is a lot of transactions, when we talk about the overall fee for this is roughly about $5,000 in fees. So when we actually look at that, and we're looking at the price per HBAR, which is sitting at about, I'm just going to estimate it to like 5.3 cents. So when we actually look at how much HBAR was utilized during those transactions, it's not really much at all. It's like about 265 technically. Or I should say, not 265, sorry. I did the math wrong. It's like roughly about 95,000 or 94,339. So when we take a look at that, okay, we have to take a step back and address what is happening around Hedera. When we look at these transactions, we need a lot more of these transactions. I would argue that when Hedera is transacting like 500 million transactions per day, that's when things are really going to change for the value of HBAR. But I'm not gonna lie, the transaction demand has been very good so far. And when we take a look at that and we take a look at the overall price chart, remember what I said many times in the past. I'm very excited to look at the price chart right now and seeing things move the way they are, because the next level that we are looking to regain is the next fib level at roughly the 0.5, which is at 7.5 cents. And from there, we really kind of just target EMAs, and the last one is at around like 11 cents up here. For those that did buy the dip, when we look at the bottom range here, which I do believe that HBAR is basically bottomed out, we would be looking at about a 2x here. And after that, we really just kind of look at the summer demand zone from 2021, which would be roughly about a 380% run up. So yes, I do think that Hedera is really changing the game right now. We still need a lot more transactions to demand a lot more HBAR, very similar to like DeFi Llama. So we've been looking at DeFi Llama. I think that this is like the best way to look at how much money is actually tied up. So like if you have $100 million tied up in DeFi, that equivalent to HBAR is sitting at about like roughly 1.95 billion. That would be the most suitable amount being transacted per day. Like I would love to see that amount being transacted per day. But if we are talking about like $100 million, and we divide that by like the fee base, we would have to have roughly 1 billion transactions per day on Hedera. Now, I'm not gonna lie, like that's quite a bit if you think about it, because again, 1 billion transactions per day when we're doing about 50 million right now. We're gonna need to have a lot more TPS to get to that demand zone. But hey, we will get there eventually, in my opinion, because when we talk about all of the major enterprises out there that are already leveraging Hedera, once they go fully live, we will start to see things change. Now, going into the next major cycle run, with what we are seeing with a lot of the DeFi offering here, with a lot of the money staked already locked up, comparing it to other major chains, which, by the way, if you guys do want to see just how large Hedera actually is right now and how undervalued Hedera is right now, go check out the DeFi offering in the space. Look at the other chains that are actually below Hedera. There it is, Cardano, ADA, below Hedera in locked up TVL. Remember, I always say TVL is a big game changer, because when you look at TVL compared to these other major networks that are well above Hedera in not only market cap, but also in the community growth as well, because there's a huge community behind ADA. We are still very early. I believe that HBAR going into the next major cycle run could do an incredible gain. I've talked about this many times in the past. I'm targeting like $3 to $6. $2.61 would be the 4618. Even if we target less than that and we go to like $2, I'm totally fine with that as well, because the gains from there are going to be incredible, especially if you have been averaging in for a while. And I know recently we hit our bottom back in like the end of December. I know that this was not the best for most people, because again, like we were most likely accumulating during the entire summertime at around roughly like 6 to 7 cents. But hey, we're still lower than the summer lows. So I mean, I'm looking at HBAR. I do have a buy set up at about like roughly 5 cents, just in case we do see it again. I will be buying at the 5 cent zone, because I do believe that 5 cents is a pretty strong area as well to look at, because just to go to the all-time high, it's like a 10x opportunity anyway. So with that in mind, when we focus on these big enterprise grade use cases like Avery Dennison, I am extremely confident on Hedera long term, because when we look at the industries that we are disrupting from the overall viewpoint of enterprise grade applications, it's every single day life. Advertising, promotions, apparel, footwear, automotive, food, durable goods and equipment, electronics, all of this. Like, this is what we are disrupting right now. And this is just not even the full scope of Hedera's power and potential. There is so much more behind Hedera. So I'm so excited going forward for the amount of growth left here, because, right now, these are incredible transactions. Like, listen, this is great data. Is it affecting HBAR's price just yet? Not necessarily. It's about $5,000 per day if we are at about 50 million transactions, but that should just show you how early we are and where we are headed. So with all that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on, if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, hope that you all have a beautiful day, beautiful night. I hope you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.